morning, Mandal. This is the Readings Department. Now I am going to second session to explain. I am going to teach second session, virtualization in cloud computing, session 2. Under that we have some contents, introduction to various hypervisor, characteristics of virtualized environment, and taxonomy of virtualization techniques. Already we know what is the virtualization. The virtualization is nothing but it is not a real, and it has to be the best example is a great learning app and Zoom app and Google Meets. You know already it is following multiplexing. All these things we discussed in session. Now in session 2 there is a introduction to various hypervisors. We already know hypervisor plays vital role to make virtualization, connect with servers, all these things. It has a hypervisor is also known as virtualization machine monitoring, and the hypervisor is a piece of software that allows us to build and run virtual machines, which are abbreviated as VMs. The VM is a full form. The VM full form is virtual machine. Already, second point is hypervisor allows a single host computer. We have a host and guest machines now. It has only allows host computer to support multiple virtual machines by sharing a resource including memory and processing. Already I told you, single person teaching, multiple people receiving that information from the Google Meet, Zoom meeting, all these things which you attended already in online classes. Every time the virtualization, I give best example, that is you attended online classes now, that's it. The third point is there are two main hypervisor types referred to as type 1 bare metal and type 2 hosted. A type 1 hypervisor acts like a lightweight operating system and runs directly on the host's hardware, while a type 2 hypervisor runs a software layer on operating system like the computer programs. Next thing is virtual machine monitor. See this, the machine monitoring is virtual machine monitoring is completely depends upon hardware. In that we have a application guest to OS1 virtual machine 1, and until unless application gets to OS n, it has to be provided. The virtual machine monitor and virtual hypervisor partitions the resources of computer system into one or more virtualization machines. It allows several operating systems to run concurrently on a single hardware platform. A virtual machine is execution environment that runs on OS. The virtual machine is an isolated environment that appears to be a whole computer, but actually only one has access to portion of a computer resources. A VMM allows multiple services to share the same platform. Live migration of movement of a server from one platform to another. Next, you see type 1 and type 2 hypervisors. Type 1 also having guest OS1 and OS1 to N, and it has to be maintain virtual machine monitor and hardware. But here in this, it has to be provided guest type 2 hypervisor, provided guest OS as well host OS also. Remaining also. The taxonomy of VMM is type 1 hypervisor bare metal native, support multiple virtual machines and runs directly on the hardware. Example VMware, ESX, Zen, Denali. And this type 2 hypervisor hosted virtual machine runs under the host operating system. Example user mode Linux. Next, see these examples of hypervisors. There is Integrity VM, Power VM, and Linux Secure, and Hyper-V server, Oracle VM server, AntiOS, RTS server, Sun XVM, VMware X server, VMware Fusion, VMware server, VMware workstation, VMware player, Denali, Gen. All these are the names of example hypervisors. See this and observe carefully. Everyone depends upon the company, host OS, guest ISA, host ISA. All these things will help you. Next, the maintenance requirement of the server of hypervisor, it helps to reduce the space efficiency. See this connected with the hardware, hypervisor settings, and 3 different OS. Now characteristics of virtualized environment: increased security and managed execution, sharing, aggregation, emulation, isolation, portability, resource sharing, and flexibility, hardware independence, scalability. See the characteristics of virtualization. The main characteristics of virtualization: resources, virtualization, physical resources, sharing, aggregation, emulation, isolation is mainly we can use in virtualization. See this increased security. First one characteristic: the ability to control execution of guest program in a completely transparent manner opens a new possibility for delivering a secure, controlled execution environment. All operations of the guest programs are generally performed against the virtual machine, which then translates and applies them to the host code. An example: untrusted code can be analyzed. Cuckoo sandboxes environment. The term sandbox identifies and isolated execution environment where the instructions can be filtered and blocked before being translated and executed in a real execution environment. Increased security: it can be provided security in different manners while program execution, mission execution, server, hosted server, guest server, all these are providing security mechanisms. And next thing is manage execution. Already it is simultaneously execution with the support of sharing, aggregation, emulation, and isolation are the most relevant features. You'll observe in my managed execution, sharing, aggregation, emulation, isolation with the support of virtual resources and virtualization, physical resources also. Next thing is, third one is sharing. Already the sharing the environment in servers as well cloud also, and active servers, limited power consumptions. Aggregation: it is possible to share physical resources and among several guests, but virtualization also allows aggregation, which is the opposite process. Now fifth one is emulation. It provides environment that controlled by the virtualization layer, which is ultimately is a program. Isolation: virtualization allows providing guests, whether they are operating systems and applications or other entities, with a completely separate environment which is they are executed. Next, portability: you can bring anywhere this data and you can download anywhere. The concept of portability applies different ways to according to specific type of virtualization. Next, resource sharing. Already everyone share the resource from the cloud. They received the bandwidth and physical machines, CPU, like that. Next thing is flexibility. And the flexibility in the sense it is user friendly. You can purchase and configure. And next thing, the 10th one is hardware independence. Hardware independence already we know in a hardware of operating system. In virtualization already we have seen. And scalability: it is scale the data computing resource how needed depending on the changes of business requirements day to day. Taxonomy of virtualization techniques: there is a taxonomy or process level, system level. The process level is existing OS with has full control of the hardware. The system level is hardware and require minimum supporting from the existing. Next thing is the taxonomy. See this, the main diagram of taxonomy overall. Virtualization, how it is done, process level, system level, technique, virtualization models, all those things are applied. Already we discussed. And now end of the session.